Well, all right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday. It's 4 o'clock. So you know what that means. It's time for another weekly chat with Pat. I have a special guest with us today to kick off Women's History Month. So since 1995, presidents have issued annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month to celebrate the different contributions women have made to our country and why it took to 1995 to start celebrating that. I'm not sure. But so at any rate, today we have our very own Stephanie Williamson. She's been with DART for how many years now?
26.
And you are the Vice President of Revenue Management.
I am.
What does that mean?
That's a really fancy name for pricing.
Okay.
So what that means is that myself and my team, because I don't do it by myself and my team, we decide what lanes we're going to do, what rate we're going to do them at, what kind of volume, and who the customers are that we're going to do business with.
So, if my paycheck's a little short and I wanted extra money, you're not the person
I have nothing to do with that.
All right.
Not at all.
Oh, good to know. So how did you get into the trucking industry?
Well, my parents were in trucking. My grandparents were in trucking. So it's a family business. That's what
you were born into it.
I was literally almost born in it. My mom went into a labor and drove herself to the hospital in a tandem dump truck.
Wow. So now I know, if I'm not mistaken, you drove as well.
I did.
So is that kind of where you cut your teeth, so to speak, in trucking?
Actually, I was a recruiter in the beginning, and I recruited a lot of drivers, and then I met one that I liked particularly, and I decided I was going to marry him. And then while in that process, I thought, I've been doing this trucking thing for a while, and I've ridden with my dad, but I've never actually driven the truck. I think it would be really cool to know what that's like. So I went to truck driving school, and we went on the road for a year and a half together.
So now, over your time here at DART, you've been with us 28 years. What are the different positions you've held here at DART?
I started at DART as a fleet manager, and then I was in customer service, and then I was in brokerage, and then I went into pricing and just grew in that position.
That's great. What are your, looking ahead here, what are some of the goals that your department has for this upcoming year?
So this upcoming year, it's all about improving our rate. We're going to do whatever we need to do to improve our rate. We want to be able to have the money to pay the drivers what they need to make. And the only way we can do that is to get it from customers. That's
great. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this is Women's History Month. So what does Women's History Month mean to you?
There are so many women who sort of paved the way, who've taken chances, who put themselves out there in a way that no other women have before. And those women paved the way for people like me on a much smaller scale and a much lower level to strive to be the best that they can be and to let you know that that's possible. I mean, we're talking from Madame Curie to Susan B. Anthony to Ruth Bader Ginsburg to, I don't know if you know this or not, but the first licensed commercial truck driver that was female was in 1929. Now, that's not the first female truck driver. The government kind of looked the other way because they were helping during the war effort in World War II.
Right.
But then in 1929, her name was Lily. I can't remember her last name, but good old Lily got her truck driving license in 1929 and became the owner of her own company.
That's an amazing feat, too, because, back then, this was an industry dominated by men. 100%
dominated by men.
And up until probably 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, predominantly men as well.
But I think guys will help the girls. I think they will. I think men will help women if they want assistance and need assistance. I can't tell you how many offers of help that I used to get, but then my husband would come out and they would do that. It would all go away.
So, one thing, how does DART collaborate with women in trucking?
Sure. So DART is a very inclusive environment. One of my personal role models in my past was my previous boss, Joyce Jordan, and she was the vice president of sales and marketing at DART and the chief operating officer of Fleetline, which is what the Dallas terminal used to be. Correct. A separate company. And she taught me how to be a female in a male industry. And that is, I'm not thinking about being a female in a male industry. I'm just trying to be the best person I can be in my job and in my role and do the best job I can do for DART and make sure I take care of the drivers too.
And I think, it's interesting you say it because I think no matter what race, gender, if you try to be the best that you can be, people are going to remember you by that. Sure. They're going to remember Stephanie. I remember when she was a fleet manager, she was the best fleet manager I ever had. Or, when she had this job, she was the best at that. They're not going to remember that you were a woman in a man's job. They're going to remember that you were doing the best job out there and treating everybody the way you want to be treated in return.
I hope that's what they remember. If they just remember I was a pretty good girl, that's pretty bad on my part. That's a fail for me.
So looking ahead, what advice do you have for women out there who are maybe thinking about coming into the trucking industry, or maybe even women that want to come work in the office here at DART?
Well, for women, trucking, every avenue is open. You can drive a truck. You can be a technician. You can be in safety. You can be in operations. You can be in sales. You could be in pricing. You could be there is not a single role in trucking that women are not qualified for. So if you want to do it, do it. We're a great industry. We can't be outsourced. Nobody in China can do what we do here on the ground in the United States. So this is a great industry to be a part of.
That's good. Then, I know there's some organizations out there in women in trucking. How can people get involved with these organizations?
Well, if anybody would like to be a member of Women in Trucking, you don't have to be a woman to be a member of Women in Trucking. That just means that you support women in trucking.
Okay.
Contact your fleet manager, and your fleet manager can send your name to me, and I will get you put on our corporate membership, and that will give you all the resources that are available to all members of Women in Trucking.
Good. So you heard it here. Ladies, if you're out there and you're looking for a job, give our recruiters a call. At the 800 number at the bottom here. Give them a call. Find out what we can do for you and what you can do for us. We'll get you in here. We'd love to put you into a truck and get you out there making money for us. So again, Stephanie, thanks for being here today. It's been great. Great way to kick off Women's History Month. Don't forget out there, like and share, comment. Remember, pay it forward. I still want to hear that. Let me know what you're doing. Maybe Women's History Month, you see a woman trucker at the truck stop, buy her dinner, buy her coffee or something. Let's pay it forward. We want to hear them stories so we can read them here. Again, if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, things you want us to talk about, put them in the comment section here. Until then, remember, don't get so busy out there building a life you actually forget to have that life. See you next week.